This is a video on Isaiah 53 in Hebrew. The actual chapter starts in Isaiah 52:13. In Hebrew, you go by something called a samex marker. The samex is used to close a chapter. So the next verse after the marker begins a new chapter. The samex is in Isaiah 52:12. So 52:13 begins what we call Isaiah 53 in Hebrew. And the verses that means there are 3 more verses that belong in the chapter. So I'm going to read each verse, and then I'm going to explain what each of the words means. And then at the end of the video, it's probably going to end up being in 3 parts. I'm going to read the whole chapter in Hebrew, and then I'm going to read the poetic translation I made out of it, because I like to try to match Isaiah's meter. So we're starting now at Isaiah 52:13, and in Hebrew I'm reading now directly from the Hebrew in Bible Works. I'm going to read it out loud. I've not had a chance to practice Hebrew with anybody, so if my pronunciation sounds off, it's going to be off compared to modern Israeli Hebrew anyway. But if it sounds off, that's going to be why. Because I'm reading it directly. Here's Isaiah 52:13. Chineh yaskil avdi yarum v'nisa v'gavach ma'od. Okay. First word is hineh. That is an interjection. It means look, pay attention. And it's usually translated behold, which is not really good in English for it. It's like, look here. So it grabs you. Okay, yaskil is the hifil imperfect, third person singular, of sakal. Sakal means that through understanding, through mastery of knowledge, you prosper. So really, you need all those words to translate yaskil. But unfortunately, in the English translations of the Bible and most of the others I can find and read in other languages, they just say prosper, and that's totally misleading. It's through mastery of knowledge he will prosper. Cal imperfect is used as a predictive tense. It means something that's not yet finished. You've really got, in the cal is the tense of reality, and you've got basically the perfect and the imperfect. Perfect means something that's completed or contemplated as being completed in the verse. And the imperfect means not completed either at the time that the verse is spoken or at the time with reference to whatever the topic is in view. So you would really translate that, look, he will prosper by means of mastery of knowledge. Okay, and then the next word is avdi. The I ending is first person singular, meaning my, and then abad means servant. It's pronounced with a V sound, even though it's spelled with a B sound. It's spelled like A-B-A-D, but the B is really a V. There's no dagish in there. So avdi means my servant. So you have hineh, look, yaskil, by means of his knowledge, he will prosper, and then the he is my servant, avdi. Yarum is a really interesting verb. It's the cal imperfect of rum. Now, rum is, in your lexicons and stuff, it's always talking about it being high, being lofty, but that's not what's in view here. It's the rising up, which is the root meaning of rum. Rum is related to kum, which means be established. But here it's talking about rising up. It's talking about the incarnation. Okay, the action of rising up, of coming to the defense, of coming to the aid here of Israel. And it's in the cal imperfect because it hasn't happened yet. And avdi is the actor of the verb, my servant, meaning Christ. Yarum. Ya is the prefix that you put on the verb rum to make it into a cal imperfect. Just like ya was the prefix that you put on sakal to turn it into yaskil to make it imperfect, but it's in the hifil there. Okay, Hebrew is an extremely varied language. There's a lot of irregularity to the verbs. They're not really irregular. They're just so many different formations of verbs. So here you've got room. The default, of course, is the cal perfect in the third person singular, and that's happening here. Ya being put on the as a prefix to make it cal imperfect is Isaiah's way of doing wordplay, because Ya, of course, is the one that's going to make the rising up occur. It's one of his many clever ways of stating God-man. Isaiah is just so genius with the way he uses words, because he just mentioned Avdi, my servant, my slave son. Okay, because Avdi also means son, besides slave. My son, my slave, Avad. So since he just did that, now he's going to use Yarum instead of just room or some other way he could have phrased it. He uses Yarum because Ya is the prefix of God. You see the cleverness there? I'm sorry, I'm smiling too much. Okay. So room is in the cal imperfect, so it's Yarum. And now we go to the next part of the sentence.